If Huck Finn knew what might have been lurking in the waters of the old Missisip, he may have thought twice about rafting down it for as long as he did. The bull shark has the uncanny ability to travel very far from home to menace the fair river folk. In fact, finding a full-grown shark in your local freshwater fishing spot is so alarming people have taken to naming it after wherever they happen to find it. But how can this deadly predator leave the comforting salt of the sea? Like a master chef, it's all about managing your salt levels here in life, death, and taxonomy.
Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons, Tristan Taylor, Jesse Raspolich, Carol Raspolich, and Richard Kaspar. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on.
And today we're talking about a sea bull to the manatee sea cow, but much more scary. And more on that later.
Much, much more scary, yes.
We're talking about the David of the sea.
That was lost on me. What happened?
You have to have watched the warm-up to understand that reference, I think.
Oh, I see. Okay, I get it now. But like a sea cow is a manatee.
Uh-huh. But a sea bull is the Zambezi shark. So we're talking about the Zambezi shark.
Yep.
Known by no other names.
Yep, that's it. No names. It's definitely not well known as anything else.
We're talking about the bull shark. I'm not bull sharking you.
Don't do it.
The bull shark.
BS.
Famous shark.
Yep, but it is also known as the Zambezi River shark, also known as the Zambi. It's short for Zambezi River shark. The Ganges River shark, the Fitzroy Creek whaler, the Van Rooyen's shark, the Lake Nicaragua shark, the estuary whaler, the Swan River whaler, the cub shark, and the shovel-nosed shark. This guy's got a lot of pen names.
Man, who's in the other corner? And in this corner, we got the Zambezi River shark.
The Zambezi from down Zizi's. The Ganges from the Flanges. The shovel-nosed shark, the cub from the pub. He's the bull shark. We haven't done a shark since episode 140 back in 2020. That was the Mako shark episode. Do we not think sharks are interesting? What's wrong with us? Shark
we don't
Week
think
happens
that they have a lot of
every year.
variability.
Yes, I was telling Bibby that we were doing the shark today, and she's like, "Wow, you guys have done a lot of sharks," and I'm like, "Actually, we haven't." For some reason, sharks are awesome, but like they're kind of all awesome in a similar way. But sometimes they have interesting major facts. But yeah, we're gonna call it here the George Lucas, because the species is Lucas.
Oh.
So I figured that, all the other nicknames were, the estuary whaler, the Swan River whaler. It's basically they see this shark in a place and they're like, that's that shark now. Like I found this in Gerald's bathtub. This is the Gerald's bathtub shark now.
Bathtubist Geraldine.
This is Kevin's pool shark. This is It's like wherever I just happened to see it. This is the puddle on Sample Road shark. How about you taxonomize this shark for us?
Okay. Well, they're in the kingdom you know, love, and are in, the kingdom Animalia. They're in the phylum Chordata. They're in the class Chondrichthyes. And then they're in
That's
the order...
cartilaginous fish, as opposed to actinopterygii, which is bony fish.
Skeletons primarily composed of cartilage. And then we've got the order Carchariniformes. That seems right.
Yeah. I think it's a hard CH there.
Like rhino? There's like a rhino in there.
Yeah.
That's what the man in the computer says. Family is Carcharinidae, and then this genus is Carcharinus. And the species, the binomial name is Carcharinus lucus. Lucas!
Peak of fire. But since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for nitty-gritty nomenclature. Because we've already done shark. It's a shiver of sharks. Back when we did the Mako shark. So let's talk about what Carcharinus lucus means in English. Doesn't mean A, large, strong shark. B, gray river shark. C, fast, sickly shark. Or D, white, sharp shark.
I'm going to go with D.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct.
Does rhinus mean sharp?
It means shark.
Wow. Why does rhino be like that then?
Carca. Hold on. Let me. It's been a little bit since I looked this up.
I got there thinking that like rhinos have sharp horns.
Yeah, Carcharos means sharp or jagged, and then rhinus is an ancient name for sharks from the Greek rhine. I think rhinoceros might be Latin and having to do with nose.
Right.
And then lucus means white.
Huh.
Who
I would
knew?
not have guessed. Would you like me to describe this thing to you?
Yes.
The bull shark is a typical shark in form, a shark of form, with some distinctives.
Sharkiformes. That was the order.
Sharkiformes. They're shaped like a football, and less like a torpedo. So, like, if you compare it to like a reef shark or a black tip or a white tip reef shark,
Or a street shark.
those are going to be more torpedo shaped. Now, those are more triangle shaped, like a guy that works.
It
out
depends.
At the beach.
It depends on which one.
Yeah. A street shark named Desire. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
They are they're so like they're football shaped, broader in the middle, stocky. Speaking of broad, they have long, broad pectoral and dorsal fins. So they look like a booba and less like a kiki.
Excuse me.
Don't
cast spells. What's happening?
There's an old experiment where like there are these two symbols, and if you look up booba and kiki, you'll see the symbols or like the shapes. And
I feel like I don't want to.
One of the shapes
look up booba.
One of the shapes is round, and one of the shapes is like jagged, like with sharp edges.
I'm trying to guess which one is which.
Which one do you think is which?
Well, now because now I'm starting to think it's the opposite. The opposite. Kiki is round.
No, what's your gut say?
Obviously, that Kiki is sharp.
Obviously, that Kiki is sharp. So the whole experiment is what I just did. Is that they showed people these two things and said one of them is Booba and one of them is Kiki, and everyone said the round one was Booba and the sharp one was Kiki.
I wonder why.
I don't know. But I saw a video today that a girl was like, I think she's like, I'm attracted. You know about the Booba and Kiki effect? I think people can be Booba and Kiki, and I'm only attracted to Boobas. And she was like going through like a list of celebrities, and like this guy's definitely a Kiki, and this guy's a Booba. Anyway, the bull shark.
Gosh.
Now all sharks are Kikis, but the bull shark is the closest thing to a Booba you're gonna find in a shark.
I don't want to think like this anymore.
But it is an interesting experiment. You have to why does everyone think the round one is Booba?
Because all of the letters in Booba are round letters, visually round, and all the letters in Kiki are sharp. It makes sense.
They're not. There's no sharp letters. It depends on the serifs, I guess.
The seraphim.
No, the font.
I'm talking sans serif. Like, imagine if you had you had no serifs to be seen, not nary an iota of serif. Your Kiki is sharp and Booba is round. Obviously,
a U could have it's very thin and. That could be a sharp letter.
Oh,
the top of a B
is that how you
sharp.
spell it? I don't know how you were going to spell that word.
Bouba.
Oh. Still round. There are still rounded facets to it. In fact, if you have a U that is not round, you have a V.
But you weren't even reading the words, and you heard Booba and Kiki. Kiki sounds sharp.
It's because I heard them in my head. These just sound like, A, we've talked about this for too long. B, these just sound like the names of some old lady's cats.
That it is a great name for a pair of cats. I'll tell you that.
And Kiki is definitely the temperamental one. Booba is the one that loves to be scritched, for sure. Anyway.
I think most cats are Boobas and most cats are Kikis and most dogs are Boobas.
I'm done. I don't want to think of. I never want to hear these words again.
Anyway, bull sharks have gray backs and cream-colored bellies. The counter shading. So we always talk about counter shading being like if you look at them from below, they are white with light from above. If you look at them from above, they're dark or like gray, dark gray or black.
Did we ever talk about the fact that
the abyss?
Did we ever talk about the fact that honey badgers, are specifically the opposite of counter shaded because they're just that extra? They're just that. I don't care. Bring it on. I want to stand out. Kill me. Try.
But for fish, I realize counter shading could be like you're countering the light hitting your back in the darkness under your belly. So it homogenizes the colors on you so there's no distinctive. Does that make sense?
No.
So like your darker back blends with the lighter light hitting it and your lighter belly blends with the darkness hitting it. So you look like just a slate gray shadow moving through the water.
But why would you? The point is you don't want to stick out at all, even as a
that's what I mean.
Shadow.
Anyway, it's very hard to say visually, but that brings us to wood size and dimensions in relatable terms. Welcome to the Beloved Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show, the part of the show that's where we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz in front for the whole family. It's also part of the show when we present the animal size. This is what happens when I try to do it rote. while I'm doing something else. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in an audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering. The words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week.
Phooey.
So that means we get to hear from an animal. Carlos has to guess what it is.
All right, let's do this.
Okay. Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show.
It's Charmander. Yes.
Is it A, Charmander? Is it B, Bulbasaur? Is it C, Bellsprout? Or is it D, Squirtle? I was going to throw Pikachu in there because he's more famous than Bellsprout, but everyone knows that Pikachu sounds like Pikachu. Although actually, no, that's only in the yellow. Yellow's Pikachu sounds like Pikachu. He says Pika. But in red
all the other
blue,
ones he goes like...
He has a regular Pokemon sound.
I'm going to go with Charmander. Final answer.
Final answer? That's correct.
Yes.
That's Charmander.
I knew it was correct. In fact, when you're playing Red, that's which was the first one that I owned. That's the first thing you hear after you get through the intro. That's the first Pokemon that shows up as a Charmander. And if you mash A because you're trying to get to the main screen, you're going to hear Charmander's cry every time you boot up the game. So I've heard it quite a few times.
I think it was my text tone at one point. Maybe it was Squirtle. Or Bulbasaur.
They do sound pretty similar.
But distinct enough that you got it. Nice. So let's say that's 5% towards your nursery school victory.
Did you choose it because this is Charcariniformes? It looks like Charmander?
Absolutely, that's why. I didn't just look up that right now. With nary a thought to be had in my head. Let's talk length. Bull sharks are around 7 feet long, but females can reach as long as 13 feet. We're going to go with 7 feet. 13 feet seems like an outlier. So Formula One driver Romain Gros... Oh, man. I looked this up. Grosjean? It's Grosjean, but it's not Grosjean or something like that.
It's spelled Grosjean?
Yeah.
And he's Romanian? Yeah, I have no idea how that works.
No, that's his first name is Romain.
Oh.
Roman.
Grosjean. Sounds good, right?
That's Italian.
Is he not? Where is he
Grosjean. Big dumb idiot. He's French. Formula One driver Romain. It looks like Romain, but it's Roman Grosjean. I can't read. So Formula One driver Roman Grosjean clipped an opponent and crashed into metal guardrails at the Bahrain Grand Prix in 2020, slicing the car in half and immediately setting the front half of the vehicle on fire, the half that Grosjean was in. How many sharks per hour was Grosjean going when he struck the barrier?
He's a Formula One driver. Those are faster. Like maybe the fastest.
Those are the ones that have the big tires sticking out.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
they're not the drag racers, which are cigar shaped.
No, the Indy 500. That's Formula.
No,
racing.
The Indy 500 is a stock car.
Oh man, why do I know Charmander's cry, but I don't know this? Okay, I mean it sounds like it's fast because 1 is the first number.
Actually, don't know what a stock car is. Yeah, stock car. Indy 500 is stock car. Formula One is like a Haas. Well, again, let me give you the.
Let me see.
Single seat open cockpit. Open wheel Formula racing. So here's a hint. Grosjean was in the flaming vehicle for 28 seconds, and onlookers were basically accepting the fact that he was not going to make it out. But like a phoenix, he climbed out of the car after slipping out of his trapped boot. He miraculously escaped with only burns on his hands and either a minor ankle or foot injury. I don't know which one.
I bet. He was in the burning vehicle for 28 seconds, but like a phoenix, a baby walked out of the car.
He emerged from the vehicle, a fresh newborn child. No, like it's like one of the craziest videos because you can't even see the part of the car that he's in because of the flames. Like it's just fully engulfed in fireball. And then all of a sudden you just see him pop out. Like there's this little gap in the fire. And it's so hot that the guy that ran to like go and get him out can't get close enough to the car. He keeps trying to get in, and then the heat like makes him step back. And then the guy, he kind of finally comes out over the guardrail and he walks away from it. Like crazy. The fire is one thing, but the speed also, which you'll find out in a second, like would it be enough to kill somebody even if it didn't get engulfed in flames?
And we're going with 7 feet?
Yep.
All right, 166,000 sharks per hour.
Is that your final answer?
It sure is.
The correct answer is 89,760 sharks per hour.
What is he complaining about? He wasn't even going fast.
Your speed is like a plane crash.
No.
Like, oh my god.
Planes go like 700 miles per hour.
But he hit the barrier at 119 miles per hour or 73.9 kilometers.
My car can go 119 miles per hour. My Yaris
It can't.
I mean,
it says so. It says it can, but it can't.
I have those numbers on my dash, so it must be able to go that fast.
Well,
I know NASCAR goes faster than
this is after he's
miles
like
an hour.
He's braking.
Straightaways.
I mean, it definitely goes faster. It definitely goes. The Formula One definitely goes faster than that. But he's spinning. He's like spinning out. He didn't spin all the way around, but he's like losing control and braking. So this is the slowed down speed when he hit the barrier.
I guess I took like what the max speed of the like the fastest car in the world is, and I just went with that.
Yeah, people don't race at max speed.
They do on straightaways or on the Autobahn. Anyway, that was not a nursing school victory, so
they can go like 218 miles an hour. Formula One cars. Formula One cars are so cool. Man, that's cooler than stock car. I mean, to each their own. I know there's a lot of people that love stock car racing.
Yeah, I don't want to yoke anybody's yak. Okay, yeah, this is an Indy car.
Okay, let's talk about weight. 130 kilograms or 290 pounds. How many bull sharks go into the largest bulldozer ever made? Here's a hint.
Big Avatar digging vehicles from the movie.
The Acco Super Bulldozer was made by the Umberto Acco Company in Italy. It has a 23-foot or 7-meter wide blade, which is the pushing part of a bulldozer.
That's called a blade?
I guess.
Huh. I thought they'd call it the pusher. The weight. What did you say the weight of the shark was again?
290. 290 pounds.
Okay, I'm going to assume this bulldozer weighs All right, I'm gonna. I think I got my math right. So I'm going to stick with because there's no sense in changing this. I'm going to say one. I'll call it 100.
100 bull sharks.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is a 15-ton vehicle.
The final answer?
Yeah.
The correct answer is 1,391 bull sharks.
Oh my goodness, this is a 150-ton vehicle.
It's 180 tons, or 403,000 pounds.
How heavy is a semi truck? Oh my gosh, a semi truck hooked up to an empty trailer weighs 35,000 pounds. So actually, I was pretty close with the semi truck, and so I was just going with like, oh, it must weigh that much.
It don't.
Goodness, that is very heavy.
It's the heaviest one. It's got to pull out all the stops.
Literally.
Are you ready for some fast facts about the bull shark?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll bulldoze all the stops. So the attacks that were inspired by Jaws were more likely to have been perpetuated by a bull shark than a great white. Did you know that?
I did.
Reasons why to come. So, where do these guys live? Everywhere. Everywhere there's coastline, pretty much, except for the Arctic. And probably the Antarctic, but not in the Antarctic. So they like temperate waters, and they like it even more than really warm water. So like in the summertime when the weather is hot, they might retreat to more temperate locations. But yeah, North America, South America, Africa. You know, all the ocean, all the ocean's greatest hits.
It's
and they're
album with
generalists.
just 4 songs on it.
They're generalists, and they can eat fish, crustaceans, seabirds, pretty much anything that they can get their jaws around. The calves of a cameraman. I think that in one of the Shark Weeks, like a cameraman was like his calf was
Really, huh?
eaten by a bull shark.
Man, getting attacked by a shark. I guess I'd rather be attacked by a shark than an alligator or a crocodile. Because the alligator and the crocodile's like, you're gonna die, bud. I don't care if you're not my food. A shark's gonna take a bite and is like, oh wait, no, that's not wasn't what I was looking for. I didn't order that. Can you please take it back? And bring
people
me the
are
quiche
quick
that I ordered.
to every time we talk about sharks, every time you watch a shark video, they're like, listen, sharks are scary, but you're more likely to get killed by a dog or struck by lightning than get killed by a shark. And obviously I live with there's dogs everywhere and there's lightning everywhere, but I don't
all the time
live where sharks live.
You live in Camino.
But can't we just have fun saying sharks are scary? Like, why do we have to be like, sharks aren't scary?
It's the same thing with pit bulls. It's because like at first it was like humanity literally had head empty, no thoughts about sharks. And then Steven Spielberg came out with Jaws and everyone's like, we need to kill all the sharks because they're bad for us. And then now it's the backlash is like, oh, actually, sharks are your friend. You should pet as many as you can find. And so it's the same thing with pit bulls. It's like, yes, pit bulls are not inherently monsters, but that doesn't mean anytime you see one, it's your friend and you're going to be fine. They're still aggressive animals that are defensive. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Sharks are cool.
You don't see that like on a tiger video. Like now you're more likely to get killed by a dog than a tiger, unless you live in the wilderness in India.
Yeah, and sharks are so easy to avoid. It's so easy to not get bit by a shark if you never go into a body of water where they could be. Like, it's just stick in pools and stick to pools and bathtubs, and you're peachy. You know,
Stick to the lakes and the rivers you're used to.
You'll never get attacked by a shark. So it's not. I can't say the same thing about bears. Bears will get you no matter where you go.
I want to know if a surfer is more likely to die by getting struck by lightning or by getting killed by a dog than he is being bitten by a shark.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know. But anyway, sharks are scary, toothy fish monsters that are really cool, and don't go blasting them away about it, but like definitely don't stick your hand in their mouth. Can't we just have that middle ground?
No, it's either kill them all or stick your hand in their mouth.
Part of the fact that they are monsters in the ocean is what makes me like them. So like
they're monsters that I can observe and respect from a distance, where I control the turf.
Anyway, bull sharks give birth to live young and gestate about for 13 months. They can live up to 30 years old. Did you know that?
I didn't.
I guess it's not that crazy. But like I think that's the same with bears.
It seems like a long time for a fish.
It is, until you remember the Greenland shark episode. Go listen to that.
Yes.
But that's pretty much all I got. That's probably nothing. Other than that, it's just a shark, right?
Yeah. There's no reason to be any more afraid of it than you would any other shark. Wrong! This major fact is called, he's climbing in your rivers, he's snatching your fishies up, trying to chomp them, so y'all better hide your trout, hide your bass, and hide your sturgeon, because they chomping everybody out here.
I don't think that's going to fit as the title on the webpage. But
you need more characters, Google. But we'll figure something out. So the bull shark takes the bronze medal in terms of most recorded shark attacks. It has 117 recorded attacks, and 25 of those were fatalities, which actually is not a lot for a dangerous animal.
Can I guess gold?
Do
you know what gold is?
I do know what gold is.
Is it tiger sharks?
No, it is not.
What? I thought bull sharks were number one. I thought Ramses was number one.
Ramses' thighs are number one.
Who is it?
It is the great white shark.
Really? I thought that was like apocryphal. I thought we were like all worried about the great white, but he's out there chomping on seals, not thinking about us twice.
Well, the thing is that they are not super intelligent, and so they will chomp whatever looks kind of like a seal, including people swimming around. And whether or not it continues to eat you doesn't really change the fact that surviving a bite from a great white shark is really hard. They're like 20 feet long, and they can easily just bite off a leg and you bleed out in the ocean. They are responsible for 333 recorded attacks with 52 fatalities, so more than double the bull shark. And the tiger shark slides in second with 138 attacks and 36 fatalities. Tigers are just crazy.
Oh, I forgot to mention bull sharks' testosterone levels are off the charts.
Yes.
They're thought to be the highest in the animal kingdom. And you think, nah, the highest in the animal kingdom is the elephants, African elephants and musks or whatever it is. When they go crazy and you can't even keep them in zoos anymore.
Yeah.
No, the bull shark's higher testosterone than African elephants.
Is it Total testosterone or pound for pound?
Nanograms per milliliter.
That sounds like pound for pound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. These guys are aggressive. I also looked it up. There are 40 bear attacks on humans worldwide every year, according to the World Animal Foundation. So, just between 2000 and 2015, that's 600 bear attacks. Twice as much as a great white shark. So, be more afraid of bears than sharks, unless you're in the water, then be more afraid of sharks.
Because they can smell you.
And so can sharks. But you have to be in the water for that. I can't stress this enough that you need to be in the water to be attacked by a shark.
And you know what's crazy? That bears can smell you even when you're in the water. So when you're in the water, 2 predators can smell you.
Right. But the big problem with this particular shark, the bull shark, is that it lives in your backyard. You don't just need to be swimming in the ocean to keep an eye out for sharks. Bull sharks have been found as far north as Alton, Illinois, a small city 700 miles up the mighty Missisip. This is a river-dwelling shark. So freshwater does not keep it at bay. The bull shark is something called diadromous, which means it has no issues swimming in either saltwater, freshwater, everything in between, like a salmon. Except it's filled with teeth and testosterone, which is the name of my next EP, Teeth and Testosterone. Most cartilaginous fish, namely sharks and skates and rays, they can't live in fresh water. They can be in fresh water, but not live there. This is because a fish's
so you
blood
can
is,
throw a dead one in there?
No, it bounces right out.
Anywhere.
You try to throw a dead one in there, and it's actually hydrophobic. It just bounces right out of the water and back into your boat. No, they can, if they find themselves in fresh water, it's not like they're going to go belly up. But they can't, they can't be in there for very long. They can't thrive.
They're going to complain the whole time.
Yeah, they're going to be really annoying about it, at least until you get them a Snickers. Which is salty and fresh. I don't know. So a fish's blood typically needs to be as salty as the water around it, or very close to it. And sharks and other cartilaginous fish have glands that secrete urea and other chemicals that keep the salt content up if they ever find themselves in fresh water, so they can survive, but they can't. This isn't sustainable. Eventually, they'll become chemically imbalanced, and and bad things will happen. The glands in a bull sharks are able to turn off the salt, the chemical factory. When in a freshwater environment. They can even recycle the salt in their bloodstream and make slight adjustments based on the salinity in the water. So rather than just getting these chemicals and then expelling them out, it recycles it inside the shark. The older the shark, the higher its tolerance to extremes in salinity, either very fresh or very salt water. Young sharks are actually born in fresh and brackish meaning a little bit of both. A black and white cookie. You get a little bit of yin, a little bit of yang. Brackish estuaries. That's a hard phrase to say. Brackish estuary. No, it's not. So other sharks, they do this because other sharks don't go to these places. They can't really tolerate the fresh water. So if you can tolerate fresh water, that's a great place to not get attacked by other sharks. So that's where they have their young and raise them. Or they don't raise them; they're sharks. Where their young raise themselves, because that's how a bull shark lives its life. They're latchkey sharks. But as they grow older, they can tolerate higher salt levels, and this, because of that, then at a certain point they can tolerate being in the ocean, as well as the freshwater. So they actually start freshwater and make their way to the sea, and that's where they mate and then they go back to the freshwater estuaries to have their young, and the cycle begins anew. The beautiful shark cycle. They actually spend most of their time in these estuaries, like where rivers meet the ocean, basically. So this kind of mix. They can technically live in freshwater forever if they wanted to, but they do, like I said, they mate in the ocean. But they also did some studies on bull sharks in freshwater and found that they didn't make it more than 4 years if kept exclusively in freshwater. And they couldn't really figure out, or at least if kept exclusively in freshwater rivers. It's not like they just put them in a freshwater tank at Bass Pro Shops, Outdoor World, and said like, oh, for some reason they just keep dying. They tracked them in freshwater, and none of them lasted for more than 4 years. They figured it might be because of starvation. They cut open their bellies posthumously and found like small fish. So there just isn't as much food for them in rivers as there is in the ocean. The fish aren't as big. They're not as plentiful. So the ocean is where the hunting grounds are. And so it might seem super scary that this 7 to sometimes 13-foot shark that is full to the brim with testosterone, at least the males are, and has a mouthful of teeth, could be swimming in the St. Johns River a couple miles away from where I'm sitting, and very well might be. And it's like, oh my goodness, all fresh water is dangerous. Well, at least all fresh water that connects to the ocean is dangerous. The reality is that bull sharks spend most of their time, like I said, in where rivers meet the ocean, so in these brackish estuaries and deltas, before heading out to sea. And most recorded attacks don't actually take place in the fresh water, but rather near the shore. So situations like the bull shark that was found in Alton, or near Alton, Illinois, in the Mississippi, are rare. It can live in fresh water, but it's not like it spends all of its time 700 miles away from the ocean. That's a lost bull shark. But also, like, when people are upriver and they see a shark, that's, like I said, that's the Zambezi River shark. That's the Ganges River shark. That's the Fitzroy Creek whaler. That's the Van Royen shark, the Lake Nicaragua shark. It's just crazy to see a shark that big in this freshwater body. But that also speaks to how infrequent it is. So if you are swimming in brackish water, I'm not saying that you have nothing to worry about, but again, 117 recorded attacks ever. So I mean, roll the dice, I guess. Although,
yeah,
over in Deerfield Beach, down in South Florida, there's a park on an island. Over near the Intercoastal, and you have to take a ferry to get to this park, and the last time that we went there, the ferry driver was like, "Oh yeah, I saw some 2 bull sharks here earlier this morning," and that was a little frightening because we were close to the water. Maybe you fall in. Who knows?
Are you talking about Peanut Island?
Since we didn't get in the water, no, that's in West Palm.
Oh,
that's
never mind.
West Palm. This is Triangle Park or something like that. Off Hillsborough and the Intercoastal.
Ah,
for those of you in the area. So yeah, I've never seen a bull shark myself. But I don't live in constant fear of them. Although I did for a little while, or not in constant fear, but I was just like, man, goodness, you swim in a lake or a river or anything, the Loxahatchee, just prepare to get chomped on by a bull shark. And that's just not really the case. And that's all I've got. You can run and tell that, homeboy. I don't know if anybody gets that reference.
Oh yeah, everyone knows that song.
Does everybody know that song?
Unless you're really young. Yeah.
That was my introduction to college. It was like a cardboard. My orientation in the breezeway, there was a life-size cardboard cutout of Antoine Dobson. Just some behind some student's booth. I don't even know what they were trying to sell. But that was the zeitgeist. That was meme culture back then. But
yeah, I think it's still famous.
It's still famous. It's like Numa. You know, it's just like no one ever watches it anymore,
Timeless.
but everyone remembers it.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything else?
Nope.
All right, that is the bull shark. So for you out there in Podcastia, hang out in rivers, practice your osmoregulation, and don't let anyone tell you where you can and can't kill things like the bull shark here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
I just realized I meant to talk about osmoregulation during the general info, but whatever.